Hi, I'm Lana Manganiello, the founder of Practice Growth Partner. I work with lawyers and law firms to design and implement business development strategies that create profitable, fulfilling practices. My focus is on helping lawyers gain clarity about the clients and work that they want most, then build visibility, relationships, and momentum to attract them. So let's get started. Um, this workshop is the right work, the right clients, a framework for profitable clarity. So business development isn't about doing more. It's about getting clear on what is worth doing. And that starts with choosing a focus. Busy does not equal profitable or fulfilling. Many of the lawyers that I work with fill their days with work that isn't their highest value, and they're working with clients that they don't love and handling matters that are uninteresting and generally don't move their careers forward. So this session is not about getting more work necessarily. It's about identifying and designing your dream practice and taking the first step towards a successful business growth strategy. So profitable clarity comes from aligning three things: the clients you most want to serve, the matters that are most interesting to you and showcase your expertise, and the people who can consistently connect you with that work. So most lawyers can serve many types of clients and handle all sorts of matters. But when you try to do everything, especially being everything to everyone when it comes to marketing, you end up being known for nothing. And the result is dilution, forgettability, and commoditization. Um, the lawyers I work with often kind of panic at the idea of choosing a focus for marketing because they feel like they're pigeonholing themselves or saying no to work. But in business development, focus is a marketing tool, not a practice restriction. So think of focus as a way to ensure that you're memorable and use your focus as the front door to your practice. So choose what you want to be known for and referred for, knowing that once a client comes in, they're usually going to have broader needs. And even once you've chosen a marketing focus, you'll continue to get calls, all the calls that you're currently getting, maybe even more increased kind of outside of your focus because you'll be more memorable and visible. So David Baker wrote the book, The Business of Expertise. I highly recommend it. And he says expertise flows from focus. So there is benefit, and the marketplace knows that there's benefit when you work on similar matters for similar clients. You're able to start to see patterns. So you notice common problems, you see early warning signs, and you're able to come up with efficient solutions more quickly. And that kind of depth makes you more valuable than someone who's always working on mostly unrelated cases. And that focus also makes you less interchangeable. So if you're saying, I handle contracts, employment, real estate, and disputes for small to medium-sized businesses, you sound like half of the lawyers in the city. But if you're saying, I help high growth biotech startups structure equity and protect their IP during fundraising, that is much more distinct and memorable. So, in that sense, the narrowness becomes your moat, Warren Buffett's term, of the protective barrier around your practice that competitors can't easily cross. So, the more specific you are, the more memorable and referable you become, and the easier it is to build a marketing strategy around something highly specific. So focus also creates scarcity. So when demand for what you do is concentrated, you have more leverage. You can charge a premium. You can choose better clients. You can work on higher value matters. So this isn't about restricting your pipeline. It's about concentrating it so more of the right opportunities flow your way. So when you try to market multiple services to multiple audiences, your message becomes vague. So referrers and prospects really struggle to recall what you actually do best. And cognitive overload sets in. So people cannot remember or repeat long lists. It's medically studied. So if your pitch is, I handle contracts and employment and real estate and disputes for all industries and people, it starts to blur together versus, I help SaaS startups with subscription contracts and equity structuring. That is something that people can remember and repeat. And being a jack of all trades, master of none, really is a risk. Breadth shows that you can do many things, but depth demonstrates your ability to see patterns and deliver unique insights. Specialists in focused areas, such as an employment lawyer who primarily handles discrimination cases, or a family law attorney who regularly works with founders with stock assets, can see trends for those clients and strategies for their clients that a generalist will miss. So I want you to ask yourself or I would like to ask you, how many of you have had a client or a friend or a family member tell you that they just hired someone else for work that you definitely could have done simply because they didn't know you handled it? I hear this all the time from my clients, but being clear about who you work with and what you do for them is necessary in being memorable. So now we'll work through three lenses: clients, matters, and audience, to help you choose your lane with clarity and confidence. So the first exercise is to take a quick snapshot of where you are right now in your practice. This is a way to see at a glance where you feel strong and where you want to improve. So we'll look at three things that matter most to the health of your practice: your clients, your matters, and your compensation. So grab a piece of paper, draw a line at the top, draw a horizontal line in the middle, and draw a horizontal line at the bottom, three horizontal lines. On top of the first line, write engaging clients. And this is where you're going to rate yourself on where you land today in regard to your clients, how you feel about your clients. So if you were to put a 10 at the right side of the line, the highest score, you're excited anytime you hear your work phone ring because you're sure it's one of your clients and you love working with every single one of your clients. You might put a 1 on the left side of this line if, when the phone rings, you cringe and your stomach drops because it's probably a client and you have no favorite clients. So rate yourself on how you feel about your clients as a whole today. So the next line is going to be engaging matters. So write engaging matters on top of the second line and rate yourself between 1 and 10 on how you feel about the work you're currently engaged in. So you might put a 10 at the end of this line if you're jumping out of bed every morning because you're so excited about the work that you have going on that day. You may put yourself at a 1 for engaging matters if you're dragging yourself out of bed every morning because everything on your plate that day is mind numbing. So rate yourself between 1 and 10 where you land today on matters. Okay, So lastly, we'll look at compensation. So we'll rate on that third line how your practice is serving you financially today. So you may put yourself at a 10 if your rates are above market and you feel you're getting paid in a way that's consistent with the value that you're bringing. Your clients are paying reliably and you're not chasing anyone for payment and you're not discounting your work. So someone at a 1 would potentially be feeling that the income that they're getting is just not worth their time. So rate yourself between 1 and 10 on how your practice is serving you financially today in this moment. And if you're like most lawyers, you probably didn't give yourself a 10 in all 3 areas, and that is totally normal. Very few people are completely satisfied across the board, and that's why you're here today. And that is to identify where you want to see improvement and start moving toward the changes that are going to make the biggest impact in your practice. So let's talk about how to evaluate your clients and matters in a way that helps you elevate your practice instead of keeping you stuck just being busy. So not all work is equal. Some clients are going to energize you, others are going to drain you. Some matters showcase your skills while others just keep you busy. Profitability can be uneven. Some clients are paying promptly, generating repeat work, and leading to really great referrals. Others are asking for discounts or demanding discounts, dragging billing out, and consuming more time than they're worth. So the clients and the matters that you say yes to directly shape the trajectory of your practice. So how to think about elevating your practice. High revenue doesn't always mean high profit. So ask yourself, does this client respect my time? Do they pay me on time? Do they generate referrals? A big client who drains your energy, fights fees, or takes triple the hours to manage can certainly lower profitability. And for matters, some matters bring in more than fees. They elevate your visibility, they strengthen your authority in a space, and they position you well for future high value engagements. So ask, did this matter showcase my expertise? Did it open doors to new profitable opportunities? Because the most valuable matters are the ones that both pay well and compound into more of the same high caliber work. And you'll want to think about your practice as a portfolio. So what percentage of your time is spent on high profit, high value clients and matters? So elevating your practice means intentionally shifting towards attracting only the clients and matters that check 3 boxes. So they're profitable, they're energizing, and they're strategically valuable. So over time, your practice will be increasingly composed of the work that you consider A plus, and you can start referring out all the stuff that you're currently working on that you just don't love. All right. So our first exercise is to think back on all the clients and matters you've ever worked on, and think about who was your favorite or what matters were your favorite. These are cases and clients that you would love to replicate many times over and write it down. So you can think through the last 3 years. If you have to go further than that, that's okay. Think about, which clients and matters over the course of your career resonated as things that you really enjoyed. And if over the next year you were able to bring 5 of those in, you would have a banner year. So write those down. If there's more than one, that's great. Write it down. And now I want you to take note about what you liked about that work. So think about what was it about the matter that was um, interesting, or what you liked most about the matter? Who were you dealing with? What did you like about them? Did the work lead to more high quality work, or is it likely to lead to more high quality work? So jot down the reasons why that these matters and clients came to mind as um, especially enjoyable, that you would consider them kind of A plus clients and A plus matters. So when I work with attorneys on business development coaching, um, an exercise that I have them do to kind of clarify what this ideal work is, taking this current exercise and expanding it even further, so that they have an extensive list of matters that they've worked on over the course of their career, where they're able to get an opportunity to recall how they felt about each one of those. So that might be the things that they really enjoyed that they're taking note of, and just as importantly, what do they never want to do again? So that could be they never want to work with this kind of client, or they never want to work on this kind of matter. And that is and that's a good way to work through um, getting some clarity on where you might want to create focus and build a marketing strategy specifically in a way that's going to attract more of that kind of work. Um, there's also benefits to putting together a list of representative matters, because it is going to be a very helpful marketing tool for all lawyers, but that is a different presentation. But I do encourage you to build a list of focus areas, hopefully as narrow as possible, because the more narrow it is, the easier it is to build an efficient marketing strategy. And create a list so that you can start evaluating one or two that are areas that you want to put energy towards from a marketing perspective. Okay, so your target audience. Once you know the type of clients you want more of and the work you want to be known for, the next step is to identify the people who can actually open those doors for you. This is where a lot of lawyers skip ahead. They'll decide, here's my focus, and jump right to networking or marketing activities without really asking, who do I need to know to be visible in order to be hired or referred for this kind of work? Because the truth is, you rarely get ideal work just by being out there. You get work because the right people know who you are and trust you and are connecting you to the opportunities. So another thing to consider is there's almost always more than one path into a client. So for example, if you want to work with biotech companies on real estate matters, you might be brought in by the CEO or someone in the C-suite, or by the general counsel, or by someone in finance or funding for the organization, or by their outside accountants, or by another lawyer who already serves the company. So the key is to be thoughtful. Ask yourself, which of these groups do I naturally resonate with? Where do I already have credibility? Which of these categories of people feel most aligned with my personality and my strengths? So by answering those questions, you can build a strategy around the channels that are most natural for you, instead of being everything to everyone. And this is how you create a visibility strategy that actually translates into the right work and the right clients. And paying attention to kind of those natural inclinations of categories of people that you are especially connected to makes it much more likely that you're going to be successful in your marketing and business development efforts. And, at the end of the day, business development is about relationships. And so the more specific you can be around picking places where it's likely that you can build authentic relationships, the more likely you'll be successful. Okay, so again, profitable clarity comes from aligning the clients you want most to serve, the matters that showcase your expertise, and the audiences who can consistently connect you to that work. And hopefully, the real takeaway today is that you need to be thoughtful about what you truly want out of your practice so that the actions that you're taking every day, every week are building towards your vision. Because when you have that clarity, even small steps, reaching out to a referral source, updating your LinkedIn profile, or drafting an article idea, compound over time into real change. So this workshop is just the beginning. If you found it helpful, I invite you to join me for the Leap Forward October Challenge. So over 30 days, you'll get 15-minute daily prompts, check-ins, coaching, and accountability to help you go deeper into this process, create focus, and build momentum towards the practice that you truly want. So I hope you will take this next step, and I look forward to seeing the practice that you create.